Well, I was asked to revisit my custom truck bed build, so we're going to do that, and I'm going to be a little more specific on things. Right, Cutler? We're going to be specific. You see yourself. Anyway, we're going to be more specific and go over some of the measurements and techniques on how I built it, because I've been asked a few times on stuff like that. So you ask and you shall receive. I started out with a regular old long bed Chevy bed. Took the bed sides off because they were pretty much trash. They come off with about, I don't know, 400,000 bolts. Just kidding, it's probably closer to 50. So pulled the bed sides off. The floor is the original Chevy bed floor. Fenders are a little modified, I'll go over that. And the bed floor is actually narrowed by 3 inches on each side. I didn't take the 3 inches out of the middle or anything, just on each side. And then towards the back, I tapered it in so you can see where it goes straight down the side, and then it tapers in towards the very back for about the last, I think it was 20 inches or so. Did it just strictly for looks. I mean, obviously cuts down on the capacity of the bed. I wanted it narrower strictly for looks, but I didn't want it too narrow because I still wanted it to be very, very functional. And then yeah, I left, even with the back end tapered, I still left it wide enough to be functional. So yeah, I just cut the bed down with the bed sides off with a 7-inch angle grinder and a grinding wheel. Like I said, just a 7-inch angle grinder with the cutoff wheel. It's a DeWalt extended performance cutoff wheel. The 7-inch is a lot more powerful than the 4.5-inch, but you could get by with a 4.5-inch for sure. And when you trim the edge of your bed off, you've got the bed supports, or the ribs, I think they're called, underneath. These guys right here, they go all up the bed. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 7, 8 of the big ones. Anyway, I took the big angle grinder too and kind of tapered those down so they're not just a flat 2x4 looking thing hanging down. I tapered them in a little bit. You can kind of see what I mean, just so they don't hang out there. And then I went and took 1.25-inch angle iron and welded it to the bottom side of the bed to give it some rigidity while I worked on it. And that's also to kind of cover up these ends that you see here. Alright, just kind of mocking things up as I went. I didn't have an exact picture in my mind of how I wanted it to be built, and I was going off of the materials that I had. I didn't buy a whole lot, so I kind of wanted to go with what I already had. Anyway, this is 3-inch by 2-inch rectangle tubing, and it's a 1/4-inch wall, some pretty heavy stuff. I'll flash some pictures up throughout this video too of the building process. I basically just laid it out, did a lot of tack welding, and then grind it back off and re-tack weld it just to see what I thought looked the best. It was a long process. Anyway, I got my basic shape all mocked up and tacked together, and then I did like the idea of going with rectangle and round just to give it some dimension and stuff. So this is It's about a 2 3/8 inch outside diameter pipe. I think it was a 3/16 wall. It's just like that crap right there. It's painted, it's not galvanized or anything. And I couldn't even tell you where I got it, but I've got some laying around, so I used that. Bent it to take the contour of the taper that I did, and then I also wanted the back end to taper down like this to make it, to achieve the look that I wanted. And that I mitered instead of bending. I wanted the sharp look to that end of it, and then just basically grafted it to the top edge of the rectangle tubing here. It was a little bit wider, but not too bad, so it welded up pretty nice without too much gap or anything. And then just took another piece of 1/4 inch flat bar and made it the same shape as how this end came out, welded it up. So that got me my height. Like I said, after a lot of mock-ups and stuff like that, it was all just kind of a trial and error type deal. And as I was going, I thought, well, this is going to be pretty cool, with to kind of split it up a little bit instead of one big panel. So I welded some flats, one here and one here on there, and that also gave me a good place to seam the filler panels, which is what this is, and this is. That's all 1/8 inch flat steel, sheet steel, nothing fancy. I had access to a plasma table, so I was able to put my logo on there, and I also got creative with the hand grenade and the bottle opener cut out. I am getting kind of thirsty, so I'll demonstrate that. I backed behind the hand grenade cut out. I welded 4, I think I used 1/4 inch bolts as studs, and then just put a piece of aluminum on the back side of it, and it's spaced out a little bit to give some room for the bottle cap function, the bottle opener function, and didn't really polish it up, but kind of scuffed it up with Scotch-Brite on the back side there. You can kind of see it's not shiny or anything, but from the distance that anybody's going to view it at, it just gives it the contrast you want. Over here behind my GebBuilt, I backed that the same way, just welded studs along on the back side, and then used some spacers to space it back a little bit, just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then just cleaned up the aluminum. I'll show you the aluminum that I had. It happened to be from a retail store fixture that was obsoleted and tossed out. I got lucky to scab onto it. Anyway, it's just about a 4-foot long sheet. Hi, dude. 4-foot long sheet, and it's got all these holes cut out of it, which I wish weren't there because it'd give me a lot more use out of it. But anyway, beggars can't be choosers, and it works. My gas filler opening, I just kind of eyeballed and decided I wanted it right there. The fuel cell is underneath that. There's a little more about that in another video on my channel. You can see it right there in the fuel filter. Anyway, it's caged in right there, and then the filler hose is the big ribbed black hose, and it comes up, and I tigged up an elbow that goes up into the bed, and actually bolts to the bed, and right there is that elbow. You can see where it comes up through. I filled that in with some Volcom sealant where it didn't quite meet the hole that I cut. Then it just screws into the bottom of the bed, and then flexible hose there, and into the back side of my marine filler cap. It's just a boat inboard outboard boat gas filler. Alright, and then I used a piece of 1/4 inch aluminum plate that I had just to kind of back it and make it look nice, with some stainless Allen head screws, just to decorate it up, make it look sharp. And then where my hoses come up through, these are vent hose. This is my fuel cell vent, and this is my rear differential vent. I'll show you where they're at on the inside of the bed too. I built another little plate right here to protect from rocks and stuff like that flying off the tire. You can kind of see where it's at under there. Show you the inside where the vents are. They come up through right by the gas filler. Come up underneath. Ooh.
I can see.
Yeah. Where are we? There we are. And I actually took a aluminum reusable fuel filter, kind of a performance fuel filter, and you can see where I bored some holes in it to work as the vent. Same thing on both of them there. It's grounded, and I do plan on possibly building some sort of a box over this, so just in case I'm throwing a bunch of firewood or something in the back, I don't kink my hose or anything. Might as well, while I'm in the back, went over, I got various tie downs in here. That's at the very back corner. This is a piece of square tubing, 1/4 inch wall that I welded right there for a tie down. Down here is another one that I drilled, tapped, and threaded for this screw-in type eye bolt, and then also welded around it. I duplicated everything on each side. And what else do I got? I've got some clear up underneath there. I don't know if we'll be able to see under there. Probably not. Clear up under, just in case. Another one in this corner. Obviously that corner. And then one up here right in the dead center. Then the rear fender wells. Obviously I had to trim those down on the outside edge by the same, well, it was a little more than 3 inches because my rectangle tubing is 2 inches wide, so I probably cut down approximately 5 inches off of them. And then to get a little more low profile look, I basically decapitated them, and then I flattened out the top that I cut off, and then re-welded it all the way around back onto the top of the inner fender well there. They're not perfect. They were all dented up anyway. I just made them work. They're good and strong though, and a little lower profile, which is what I wanted. So yeah, pretty happy with how they turned out. So go ahead, Kel.
We have a little DeWalt toolbox, and it kind of has some tools in it, chain, and some ratchet straps, some smaller ones over here, extra trailer hitches, extra welding boxes, extra welding stick boxes, 2 of them, bungee cords, another one, and then some of these
zip ties,
extra rope, another extra chain for the thing on the front.
That's a swivel clevis, a big one. What's this for? What's that for?
to put on trailers.
To change tires? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is the base to the high lift jack that we mounted on the framework that goes underneath the toolbox.
What's this?
That is a spout for the fuel can. I keep it in there to keep it clean.
Okay.
And what else? What did you say these were back here?
Oh, some LED lights if he has to see in the dark.
Yeah, we have a switch on the dash in the cab. They come on in the toolbox, and there's some underneath here, and they're blue, so they look kind of cool, but they also serve a function to see in the back end here. All right, keep going here. I need some new shocks for the toolbox. Bet those can come later. Narrowing the bed of the truck made it a challenge for a toolbox. I like the low profile design of this one. It doesn't hang down. It's a thin one. I never did totally fill up a bigger one anyway, but I had to cut down one end of it obviously because my bed is narrower. So anyway, I cut it down and re-welded it back together. It works fine, works good. So I also wanted to put some grab handles up here, and what Kale's got are some grab handles off of kayaks from another retail store that had some bum kayaks that got returned or whatever. So those are going to go up where these stainless bolts are. I don't have them on there now because I don't want them to get all sun faded and rotted and everything. I did have my high lift jack mounted across the back of the tailgate, and I liked that. It was pretty cool, and I liked the fact that it wasn't near as heavy as it is with the big freaking tire hanging off of it. So for lack of a better place for the tire, I built a mount for it on the tailgate. Not saying that that's going to be permanent, but it could be an option. I like things to be kind of modular and able to move around if I need it to, and be versatile. So that's where it's at right now. And there's also, I left the mounts for the high lift jack to be able to screw it back on as opposed to back in here. I like both spots for the high lift. So yeah, tailgate just uses these spring clips. I'm going to tether those with some stainless cable at some point so they don't get lost. The hinges, pretty beefy hinges that I built there. I don't like the bolt for obvious reasons because it's uglier than sin. But until I get a chance to machine out a nicer looking pin or something, that's what's going to have to do. So the outside of the bed, it was all, I sanded it all and primed it with just some spray primer. If I know me, I use the cheapest primer. Anyway, the outside is all coated with the spray-on Rust-Oleum truck bed coating. It's pretty darn durable. I'm actually surprised with how durable it is. I've bounced some stuff off the edge of the bed rail there, and it hasn't scratched through. The boys are always hitting it with stuff, and it's pretty darn strong. And I wanted to use something that was readily available, where if I scratch it, or I should say when I scratch it, I can just spray it and touch it up. I'm going to do the same thing with the body of the truck. Not doing anything fancy for paint jobs. I just want to be able to touch it up easily, quickly, and be done with it. So yeah, if I scratch the side of the bed, just sand it and spray it with some truck bed coating, and it'll be good to go. And then on the inside of the bed, I used the roll-on type. Same brand, same everything. and I like it. I know I sound hesitant and skeptical. I do like it, but this, it seems like, isn't as forgiving with preparation. You probably already noticed on my fender wells, especially, it's noticeable where some of it's flaking off, and a little bit back here where I've used and put just steel and crap in the back. The truck hasn't moved for 2 years, and it's not going to move anytime soon, but I use it to store scrap metal until the scrap metal guy comes. But anyway, I like it, but I would almost say just the spray is probably a little stronger than the roll-on. I don't know why, and it could have been my preparation. I don't know. I sanded it and stuff like that, but anyway, I'm not too worried about it, because like I said, I wanted this whole thing to be able to be repaired and touched up easily and quickly and cheap. A couple more things I want to incorporate, but I haven't really decided where I want them. They may end up being right on top of the toolbox. Are these, they're a gun mount for an ATV. They're adjustable, but they just seem like, whether I throw a gun back there or not, if we're coyote hunting or whatever, they'd be kind of handy to have. So yeah, I plan on incorporating those somewhere in the back. And I also want to incorporate my an ammo can and my jerry can. I don't know if I want them hanging off the side or what, but whatever it's going to be a quick release, easily removable type deal. So if it's inside the bed, it's not going to take up, or it's going to be easy to pull out of there and not mess up any bed space. As it is, my between the fender wells area is the exact same as the stock bed. It's just the width from there that's narrowed down. And then also I've got quite a bit of room underneath, and the idea is to be able to haul full sheets of plywood in there. These two pieces of round bar, or round tube stock, is just 1.25 inch outside diameter, 3/16 walled. They're there for a little bit of support, but more for the look as well. Everything's welded with 7018 rod. I've got a TIG welder, but I just wanted to use the stick welder on this. Let's see, most of the bed panels, yeah, all the bed panels are just basically tacked. Okay, and then down at the bottom on the outside and the inside, they're tacked with, like, I don't know, 1 to 2 inch long welds, and then in between is filled in with black Vulcum. I don't have a tube of it, or I'd show you, but I think it's VULKEM is how it's spelled. It's just really good stuff. It's pretty nasty to work with, but it's really good. I went around all the outside seams, you kind of see it along here, and all of the inside seams, so no water or anything's going to get down underneath in between the bed and the rectangle tubing and rust. The rust that you see right now is basically grinder dust from the other stuff I've done on this truck. The grinder dust sits there and then gets wet and then rusts out, obviously. I'll just show the operation of the tailgate. Got my little pins. Pull those. Like I said, with the spare tire, it's obviously pretty heavy. And there we go. With the hitch, with the receiver in, it hits the spare tire here. I didn't have a whole lot of choice. I didn't want the tire to sit any higher above the top of the tailgate, top edge of it. So I didn't have a whole lot of choice there. With the hitch removed out of the receiver, the tailgate folds all the way down. So that's how it works. It's crude, but I didn't want anything fancy that would break easily, so that's what we got. The inside of the bed has these two right there and right there, pieces of tube stock. I just put those in there for support. Basically, it helped me when I was mocking up where to put the top rail too, using big magnets to hold all that stuff. So yeah, those are in there. Trying to catch everything here. Lots of some little funky angles I had to do here that you can see. Fun project for sure. When I built the framework underneath this toolbox, I just used some more of that fairly lightweight 1¼ angle iron under there, just for something to hold it up and bolt it down to and be strong enough to stand on. And I also put a little bit of a taper on it so rainwater can run off, in case you were wondering. All right, and then kind of to wrap it up here, the front end of the bed is the stock piece also that I cut off and narrowed up. It's bolted to these this rectangle upright. It's the 3" by 2" 1/4" wall stuff, bolted and then Vulcumed all along there. And at the top edge I had a piece of pretty light channel that I just kind of tied it all together with. It's welded in here to my upright post and then bolted. These are just self tappers to the top of the front edge of the bed there. If you know how the front end of the bed comes up and then it curls around, so you end up with a flat surface right here that you can bolt right down through. The bed is mounted in the stock locations. Just some body blocks from a body lift that I had. I think I scooted it up about 2 inches, just for the look that I wanted. Just bolts in the regular stock location with the carriage head bolts, 1/2 inch I believe they are. And so that's that.
I know we already made a video of the gas tank. It's a race car gas tank and has little cage around it, like Dad always said. So right here is the part where it kind of comes down, and I bent it down with the pipe bender over there.
The Harbor Freight 16-ton pipe bender.
And I bent it down 10 degrees.
Okay. You sure?
Well, whatever you think, yeah.
That's what I think. And we also, the back end curves in at 10 degrees too, in case anybody was wanting to know.
I chopped